All right, thanks for joining us again, folks, on a Family Through Service, a V2VG podcast. I didn't fuck it up that time.
No, not this time.
And it's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been a while since we've done a podcast in the office.
It really has. I mean, we've done little funny ones, and then we had our awards day, which was mostly me screwing up big words. But,
well,
I do want to put the disclaimer out there to our Miss Nancy and say, I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be PG with our verbiage today. So there's my apology and disclaimer.
But that's okay because we have money to put in the Nancy can.
Yes.
So it's going to go to a good cause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're knocking on, maybe 2 or 3 more months. And
we've got half of our treasure chest full of
It's heavy.
Coins.
She didn't even want to pick it up. So
it was funny. She came in for the Nancy can. She said, "Oh, you guys have been very good on your videos." And I said, "Yeah, look in the Nancy can." She said, "Oh, you've been really bad." Really bad.
Yep.
All right, let's get going on this one. This one's been burning a hole in our brains for a little since the. Okay, hold on. Let me put the timer on.
Yes.
All right. So this has been burning a hole in our brains. We've been kind of chewing over what to talk about since the Vintage Market in the Mountains event, fundraiser thing, right?
And, I mean, there's a lot going on.
There really is.
And we still do need to do the shootings, I think, at some point. But there's more research that needs to go into that
it's just
for
not,
us.
It's just, right. And I agree.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure we have as much objective
and
verifiable information as we can.
We love putting our opinion on there, but that's one of those things we need to have facts and not be emotional about, and that's why we waited so long for that. So
we'll get to
maybe
it.
In the next couple videos we'll get to that. But
so one of the things we do is to raise funds or to share information about who we are is we go to different events hosted by various people, and one of those events that we've been to for a couple years is called Vintage Market in the Mountains up here in Bethlehem, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of luck there and stuff.
Absolutely.
And there was one point we were having a great day, a great time, and people were coming up, buying little trinkets from us that we made, that you and I made and stuff, and this guy and his wife, assuming, walk up, and she puts $1 in the donation jar, which is great, thank you. And, Chuck and I are laughing. We're having a good time because everybody's having a good time.
Yeah,
right?
It was a beautiful weekend for it.
And he goes, it was, and it didn't rain, so there's that, right? And this guy goes, so how do you feel about Senator Ted Cruz? Now, the question caught me off guard because we were representing Veterans to Veterans group at the time. And, of course, the answer should have been, we don't have a political opinion when we're, on V2VG time because like we've said before, Veterans to Veterans Group official position is we have no position on politics, local, state, national, or religion. That's the case. But I was caught off guard.
Yes, completely. And, I think what made it put you more off guard was that he seemed relatively pleasant initially.
He did.
The phone is ringing. If you have kids, you know that.
Oh,
That's Jen's phone?
Yeah. It's in the office. So he did seem pleasant enough because he didn't seem confrontational at the time. But he said, how do you feel about Senator Ted Cruz? And I said, well, I like him better than the guy we have in the Oval Office right now. And that's my private, personal opinion. And that's all I said. And he goes, so how do you like the fact that he just fist bumped Josh Hawley and Pat Toomey to when they blocked the burn pit bill, the veterans bill for burn pit. Do you know the name of it? Oh,
I don't, but
so it's the burn pit bill that is going to provide funding for veterans who have side effects from the burn pits.
So this is more. So the initial one that came out in 2021 was towards compensation. This one was more towards the actual health care and treatment. So
we're all over the place.
We are. We never stop working, even when we're supposed to not work. So, yeah. So, there's a small piece of editing for you. You haven't had to do a lot of editing lately, so okay. Well, we'll just have to add 3 minutes of not silence.
Okay.
So
and I said I wasn't aware of anything that had happened. I wasn't aware that the bill had been passed or blocked in this case, or I didn't know anything about it at the time, and my mind wasn't on that. Right? We were at an event. It was a nice day out, whatever. And he was like, "So he does, your guy does a real lot for veterans. I'm better than you." And he turned around and walked away. And at first I didn't understand what he said. I was like, because I was so like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And you were like, did he just say, am I better than you? I am better than you?
Yeah, it was
like he supports a political party that's better than who I support, is what his insinuation was to me.
Well, yeah.
Or just in general, maybe he's better than me.
And the thing is, and as we tell anybody we deal with, whether it be Senator Maggie Hassan or Casella, who has been involved in some political spats or whatever, our personal opinion of politics doesn't matter. When we're wearing the V2VG hats, it's all about the mission. Our
first.
mission is not politicized. It's not based on religion. We don't ask any, and we actually had to deal with this where we wanted to go for a grant, and they asked us how many people do you work with that are transgender, and we don't ask those questions because it's not
they had an
important to
option
us.
saying that we don't ask those questions because it isn't important to us. It's a non-issue.
But
right,
it was very frustrating because again, it kind of changed the mood of the day.
Yeah, I got a little irritated, and so did you. And so he walked off, being proud of himself for putting me in my place. I've been called worse by better for sure, but so I looked it up really quickly, and Senator Cruz and some of the
There's
GOP
like 25
guys,
other.
they blocked it after saying they were going to pass it. They blocked it at that time. And then people were lambasting him, saying, "Oh, you're against the veterans and this and that and the other stuff." And I was like, "Huh, there must be some truth to it." And then I read a little bit further, and Cruz's office put out a statement regarding that incident, the blocking, and he basically, the reason that he blocked it and the other GOP guys blocked it, and the fist bump was just, "Yeah, I'm glad we blocked it," because they were celebrating the blockage that they agreed to. The reason was the last minute addition of about $400 billion with a B, $1 billion on programs that are not even related to veterans or veterans issues. We call it pork, right?
Like not in any way whatsoever, not even a sidebar of possibility.
Yeah.
It is specifically geared towards things completely opposite of the VA and veterans resources.
So yes, he did do a fist bump when they initially blocked the bill, because come to find out later on he capitulated and was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll sign the bill," and maybe they did some last backdoor maneuvering, whatever. But the reason for that initial blocking and the fist bump, of course, was because of the addition of $400 billion. That number is staggering if you know anything about money. It's just mind blowing, and it was an addition that wasn't for veterans issues. So they were making a statement like, we want to pass this bill, but not if you guys, in this case the Democrats, not if you guys want to piggyback on this bill for other shit you got going on.
And that's the issue. And this is one example, but this happens.
He neglected to mention that part.
Well, he may not even known, and
just a headline reader.
And that's this is one specific situation, but this shit happens on both sides all the time.
It does. Headline readers, we call them.
Well, no, I'm even saying the politics of it. To say, we're going to put this bill in out there, and it's going to be voted on, and the whole goal is to help people with autism. That's our whole goal, and we're gonna allocate $100 million, $100 billion to that,
which is awesome.
But
right, whatever the case is.
In the fine print, then there's this. Oh well, we're gonna do $10 billion over so long to help rehabilitate pedophiles or whatever. These weird
why
things.
Add shit to it. You can't say this is the goal and then add shit that's not related to it. It's messed up.
And especially when you're talking about such a high number. So it's $400 billion to be spent over 10 years. That's still $40 billion a year.
It's staggering. And let me get this out there. I'm a victim of burn pits. I have all kinds of issues. So is Chuck. Listen, of all the people who want this bill to pass, I'm for it. But the issue was this guy was a headline reader, as I call it. He might not have known, or if he did know, he neglected to tell that part. But you read these sensational headlines and you go, oh, I got the whole story. No, you don't. And this is case in point.
Yeah, and absolutely. And
better than me? Better than V2VG? I don't think so, buddy. Get your own charity and do what you can do. Then you'll be better. Whatever. But there's more going on than that.
There is. There's so much more. I mean, and so we're pretty much in a place where government overreach is a daily thing now.
More and more. And more and more.
So we have, CIA agents who have been caught using actual company computers, looking up being involved with child pornography.
And this is information you can find out. It's verifiable information.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's not hard to find. I know certain things with the bill was a little difficult because you have all the different sources.
You got to dig through it. The sources are the news outlets are all over the board. You have the left saying no, the right saying hell yes, and the middle saying this is the information, figure it out for yourself. In the middle is a very slim margin. But you got CIA agents doing this child pornography stuff, which is disgusting, on company computers, which is criminal.
With almost
on top of criminal,
with almost no punishment, no
accountability. What was the reason? Because they'd give up state secrets or
it's always something, right? And
it's always something.
And when you look at the alphabet soup, right, you're like, okay, so the whole goal of the CIA and the FBI are supposed to be brothers, in the aspect that the CIA is supposed to be an enforcement for international issues, right? And the FBI is supposed to be for. And I know Big Brother has a negative connotation, but it's supposed to be the overseer for the United States.
Yeah,
like
the internal stuff.
Yep. And so when you have no one to take accountability or no one to audit,
well, they're refusing. They're refusing to prosecute these people. They can be prosecuted, but it's being chosen not to for a variety of reasons. That's disgusting. And now the FBI is, of course, because hold my beer. Well, they're gonna do their own part. What's the latest issue with the FBI you got over there?
So I mean, obviously everybody knows about the raid about Trump
on Mar-a-Lago.
But this thing's been going on. They've raided.
I saw a thing that said if they were so worried about nuclear secrets or whatever, why did they wait 595 days after this whole thing came out to raid Mar-a-Lago and when he was gone? Like, if this was such a pressing national security issue, why'd they wait over a year to raid his residence? Like and just a couple months before midterm elections, doesn't that seem a little political to you?
And that's what everybody's bringing up. Even a lot of people on the Democrat side is like, why this and why nothing with Hillary Clinton when there was genuine proof. No, even the servers and all the...
and Hunter Biden's laptop, we're never going to see that shit. What's going on with that?
And, to be perfectly honest, I don't care for Donald Trump. I mean, I'm more of a constitutionalist, as I call myself. Trump is kind of a jackass and likes to talk out his ass a lot. And, whatever. But
if you're talking about justice versus politics, this is a muddying of the waters by far, especially, like you said, Chuck, there's other things. Hillary Clinton stuff, where is that? Hunter Biden stuff, where is that?
No raids whatsoever.
And everything that's been said against Trump, like the Russian collusion, has actually been proven to not be true. So it's, and I'm not being a trumpet, guy here. I'm just saying, it just seems a little fucked up. Yeah, I'm not a MAGA wearing, maniac.
Exactly. I mean, this is why justice is supposed to be blind. This is why the Constitution was developed, was to stop any one political party from taking full control. That was the whole goal, right?
Yep. And now we have the passing of the Inflation Reduction Act with Biden.
Goodness, yeah.
So what does that tell us? What happened with the IRS? Now, it's called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, I believe. So what's the situation with that?
And, there's a lot
Roughly.
to it. There's
there's a lot.
Here, there, and everywhere about how many people are supposed to be hired and however many time frames and stuff. And honestly, none of that even matters to me. My biggest concern, and you could still find it on certain websites, but they took it down from their actual interviewing process and an application process, was they noted and made it visible in black and white that they wanted people who were comfortable carrying a firearm, comfortable using it, and comfortable using with deadly force. That's what bothers me.
Sure. And I get it. So I did a little bit of research on this, and the typical armed wing of the IRS is the IRS CI division, the special agents. CI is criminal investigators, right? They're allowed to carry firearms because of blah, 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 blah. How many are there? We don't know exactly. 2,000, maybe more. But this is kind of opening it up to, like, what's the situation? The Inflation Reduction Act is $80 billion over the next 10 years for the IRS, in addition to their normal budget, right?
Which is only
part of their normal
$12 billion. So
Yeah.
this is beyond a huge increase. This is like a 900% increase type of thing.
So the IRS report states that about $45.6 billion, right, is going to go to new hires, but it doesn't mention a specific number, where we got the 87,000 number from, right? Did we just pull it out of our ass? The official IRS report doesn't say a specific number. However, the 87,000 figure is from a 2021 report from the Treasury Department that estimated that this amount in the budget would allow for approximately 87,000 new hires. Of those, thousands would be new special agents carrying guns.
And so, the troubling aspect
weapons,
of this is, you look at what has happened in the last 2 to 3 years of defund the police. Let's pretty much make the Second Amendment null. So we want to unarm or disarm our citizens who are law-abiding citizens,
of course,
and statistically are less likely to cause a crime than...
You mean the Second Amendment guys?
Actual police officers. Yeah, people who have concealed carry permits.
They're typically more law-abiding than
off-duty police officers.
Off-duty police officers. Go figure that one.
So we're taking any firearms away from them. We want to get rid of the police, and then we want to increase the amount of firearms to a federal agency that is supposed to be pretty much pencil pushers. Not only that, but then tell them that we want
to make sure you're willing to kill somebody for money or about money.
Which is frightening to me, because this doesn't sound like the America that,
I get the Treasury Department, Secret Service is part of the Treasury Department. I get all that stuff, but the IRS, special criminal.
I can understand.
If you want guns, call the sheriff or the cops to back you up.
Well, I can understand if you have a special department, and they should be working with local law enforcement, right? Or working with FBI task force.
How many mini federal armies are there? It's like even the post office has an armed branch. Everybody wants guns, except they don't want to give guns to the private citizens. So more and more firearms in the hands of the federal government in one way or another, and less for us. Now the IRS did purchase in 2022 700,000 rounds of hollow point ammunition. Now the GAO, right, the Government Accountability Office, on page 75, okay, does show that from 2010 to 2017, the average is like $670,000 a year on ammunition. But in 2011, it was a staggering $1.1 million in ammunition.
It's almost double.
Almost double. So are they burning through all that ammo in just training? That's more than what the Marines go through, and I think the Air Force and Coast Guard and Navy combined.
Sounds about right.
So, and this is a money gather. Like, we in ancient Rome, they're going to come to your house with weapons and say you're going to pay your fucking taxes. Sorry, Nancy.
But yeah, and
so it's not the 700,000 is a lot. It's not unusual over the course of the years, but if they only have roughly 2,000, 2,500 special agents who are authorized to carry firearms, that's how much are they firing?
Like how much are they doing at the range? Like,
do they spend is this a SWAT
Are they
team?
training more than our snipers? And,
like this is for a small agency, a small division in the agency. It's a lot of fucking ammunition, man.
Absolutely.
And every year,
it's absurd. And before we end things, just a little bit of food for thought. If what we have spoken about has not put a little bit of a fucking question in your mind, what's happening in the government, look at these two cases. R. Kelly, who is a giant piece of shit and deserves many things that I won't say on.
R. Kelly was an R&B guy back in the day, a couple decades, a decade ago or so.
Convicted for sex exploitation and all these other things. Sentenced to 30 years.
Okay, fine.
I mean, still that's low. But then you look at such a high-profile individual as Maxine,
Maxine,
whatever the hell her name is, and
Epstein's girl,
and she,
who did this with who trafficked children, lots of children,
was only sentenced to 20 years, and even with that. The black book of clients was never held up. There's no further investigation or indictments on anybody that was known to be there.
And we know there's high-profile people that were clients of Epstein and Ghislaine
President
Maxwell.
Trump had some sort of affiliation with them. We do know that President Clinton had some affiliation with them. Nothing is being brought up on either one of them. No real investigation.
Nothing.
So if you're really gonna... you just stick to the headlines and things, and then you're at a loss. And
you got to ask yourself the big question, right? Why? Who are they protecting? Why are they protecting them?
And I this is big, and it's big to me because
and Epstein killed himself. And this is the same issue, right? So
yeah, there's that.
What is going on?
But my thing is, I never became politically driven until things started to affect me. And now that I see how things can really affect my family and our organization and how hard we work, that if we possibly don't side with one political side or the other, that we may be targeted for an audit or one thing or another. And
I mean, who knows? Our records are all public, but still, it takes time. It sucks.
But, I just... again, like I tell my kids, and like we've told your kids and other board members' kids, always do your research. Do your own research. Don't take one person's word for it. Don't just listen to one media source. Always do your research.
So important. And don't go with a preconceived notion of what's right and wrong. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, centrist, whatever, constitutionalist, don't go in there. Try not to go in there with a bias. Just try to get the facts and then make up your mind as you go, right? And,
Absolutely.
I'll take a line from one of my drill sergeants, and this isn't just a military thing, but just look, do the right thing, even when you think no one's watching, because there's always somebody watching.
Absolutely. Couldn't end it better.
All right, folks.